How you doing? Jake Duesenberg with Action for Liberty here, going live for the fourth time, I think, in last month. And we got a good show in store for you. Joining me today is a lot of people. Let's start out with our own MAGA guy, Jesse Smith. How you doing, Jesse?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It's a great day to be a Trump supporter and an even better day to be an American.
Okay. All right, we also have William and Bridget in the control room. How you doing, Bridget? It's the first time I've seen you in like a week. Where are you? William, you taking Bridget's spot again? There she is. I think we got to get this order done right. I don't know why William's stealing that spot. Also joining us for the second week in a row is none other than Liberty Longbeard. How you doing, Paul?
Who's Paul?
Liberty Longbeard,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. How come I don't get a desk to sit behind?
You don't get a desk because, well, okay, first of all,
Get some wings in front of me. Then
people don't know
will see
this. You agreed to do our show, okay? But there's a stipulation. To do our show, what you required were wings, right?
Correct.
So you get paid. So you're the first paid guy on the show, right?
I can't
Oh,
verify
Jesse
that.
doesn't. Jesse does it for free. This is fun for him. By the way, a little story about Jesse. Jesse at night goes home after work and tell folks what you turn on in your TV or turn on in your computer.
Well, you know, I'm a big fan of C-SPAN. It's basically the only place that you can find truthful information and actual debates of figuring out how the government runs. So I flip on C-SPAN and watch some debates and see what's going on the floor of House and Senate.
And you watch old school debates too.
Oh,
don't
of
you?
course. They're the best ones.
Okay, that's Jesse Smith for you. All right, Paul Tushy, you require wings to do our show, and so we agreed to that. So, William, will you bring in some wings here? What do we got? What do we got for him?
We have 15 Thai curry.
Thai
wings,
curry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And then
and
we have 2 mystery sauces. I'm not sure which one's which. But
now
all
you
will-
requested some other
And
things here, didn't you?
That's good. My writer did specify all flats.
Are they all flats?
Extra crispy.
Did
They
Buffalo
are
Wild
all
Wings-
flats. I'm not sure how crispy they are.
Hey, hold
You don't
on a
think they're
second. Can
that
you move
crispy?
Your beard for
Yes.
me?
All
There
right.
you go.
All right. Excellent.
All right, good. Yeah, make sure it doesn't spill over that beautiful shirt of his.
we
By
go.
the way, most guys have buttons on their
Yeah.
shirt. I don't know. Did you magically take those things off, or
There's 2 of them left.
It's-
You know, now next time I get into a discussion with, say, Josh Heinzman on Facebook, he's going to say, "How many wings were you paid for that, Mr. Liberty? How many wings were you paid to take?"
I'm unaware of this. You got in a debate with Representative Josh Heinzman
No, I
on
was-
Facebook.
There
I'm not
was
even aware of this.
So there was a couple of, I think it was a couple of years ago. There was I'm seeing all these comments, or all these comments have been liked recently, but there is a post, I believe it was on one of the former New House Caucus guys' pages, and Kurt Doubt got in there and said, "These guys are terrible. He's the only conservative," and then Heinzman came in there to defend him, and then somebody put a picture of him with a small white dog with Heinzman's face on Kurt's lap with a jar of peanut butter. And then they were, then he came on there and said like 5 times, how much were you paid to attack me or something like this? Don't make me post it. So they
wait.
said no.
That's what they accused you of getting paid?
That's what they accused
Oh, well, I
you,
mean,
so-
technically, you get paid in
Yeah.
wings, don't
So
you?
now I will have, now
Is
I'm
that
gonna,
taxable? Oh, my God. There's
How many wings did you get
87,000
paid?
new IRS agents. They're going to hunt down Paul Tushy getting paid in wings.
They'll say, how many wings did you get paid to call us rhinos? That's 'cause
There you go.
That's their excuse when you say you're a rhino, and here's the evidence that you're a rhino. You're getting paid to say that. It's like, well,
Or you're just saying the truth.
yeah.
I think you get paid to open up storage units and see what kind of treasures are in there. That's the story of Paul Tushy. We should have done this last week and introduced who he is, but we don't have that queued up, so we'll have to say that for the next episode. But the story of Tushy and his mirror salesmanship. How are those wings so far?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Now look at this. Can you zoom in there real quick, Dawson? I want people to see. Look at this bone that he's got. Go ahead and see that bone. Is that fully? Is that gone? 100%?
Not quite. I just
No,
took one
Gristle.
bite.
Show us what it looks like when it's all gone. Look at. All right. So there.
Where is this?
that is a fully eaten wing there, and you know the other thing I noticed is that bib that we put on you. It's right under the beard. So, and this is why he's called Liberty Longbeard.
Yep.
So that will fall down the beard, and whatever makes it past the beard will fall right on that nice bib.
Hey, Paul, there are napkins to your left in case you need them or in case you need to touch anything.
Nap.
Okay,
Pins?
so you got that
What?
napkins. No, those
What's
paper
that?
towels. That's for you. All right. So obviously, I have the most interesting people read the news with me. But I think some of you guys will realize these guys actually know what they're talking about, even if they're a little quirky. Especially Tushy, especially Liberty Longbeard. Sorry, didn't mean to call you by your real name. Let's talk about the big rhino going down, Liz Cheney. I mean, no surprise. I think everyone knew that she wasn't going to do well. But Jesse, how do you feel about that one?
Oh, wasn't that a win? Dawson, go ahead and pull up the results of that because it was fantastic to see such a rhino go down. She deservingly went down after making her whole campaign about going against Donald Trump, and Donald Trump still has a grip on this Republican Party. It's an America First party, and Liz Cheney was out of step with it. And it teaches these career politicians a lesson. If you're out of step with the base, we're going to kick you out and put a patriot in your place. And as you can see, what did she get there? Not even 30%.
I can't even see the results. What is that? Oh, the number 2. What is that? What's the number?
Yeah, Dawson, what's that at? 29?
That is 28.9.
28.9. She didn't even get 30%.
Yep, and that's as an incumbent. She absolutely got destroyed. And Harriet Hageman, who was endorsed by Donald Trump, crushed it and absolutely, won with flying colors, and that was nice to see. She, of course, still has to prove herself. We have to remain skeptical of anyone who goes into Congress, so I wish her the best of luck. I think that she's going to do a good job, and I hope that she doesn't let the American people down.
All right, so we got to talk about like all the people coming to Cheney's aid. I mean, first of all, last week we talked about Dick Cheney, which is just a scum of the earth, one of the worst politicians we had, cutting a commercial for Liz. But I think you have a graphic here. Mitt Romney got involved in this one. Is that correct, Jesse?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So here, Mitt Romney, you can see that Mitt Romney, a rhino of all rhinos, decided to come out to Wyoming and tell these people how to vote. Of course, they didn't listen to anything that Mitt Romney's telling them. But as you can see, Donald Trump took to Truth Social to make it known to the people. Well, that didn't work out too well, did it? And hopefully we can get rid of Romney in the next election. It's good to see that the America First movement still has the power in the Republican Party that we can take career politicians out and replace them with patriots. It's a beautiful sight to see.
I thought I saw something about like the money that flowing in. There's even Minnesota money going to Liz Cheney, special interest money going to. At some point, you got to imagine the lobbyists and the special interests cut it off because they saw that this was a losing venture. But maybe they didn't. But do you even know how much she raised? It was a lot.
I don't know. It was an insane amount of money. And like you said, of course, it's all from the special interests and lobbyists. There isn't a grassroots movement for her. And all the people that were voting for her in Wyoming were probably Democrats.
Yeah, I was chatting with someone. Speaking of grassroots, so I was chatting with somebody here in Minnesota. This is an interesting race we weren't following really close. But Otter Tail County up in Senate District 9. Is that right? Miller was 9 in
Yep, Senate
Miller
District 9.
versus
Rasmussen.
Yeah. Rasmussen's like this, I guess he hasn't had much of a voting record because he's a freshman state rep, but just doesn't seem like he fits the district at all. Definitely loved by his establishment. Are you joining us here, William?
I am.
We got a stool. I think we got a stool over there. in that
Okay,
room.
otherwise it's gonna awkwardly stand.
That was
behind
really,
the towel
that was
over
very
me.
awkward. I guess you want to be part of the conversation.
He's got some
Well, what the
insight.
hell? Everyone just come on set here. What? Well, finally we got Bridget in the camera, right? Or are you still hiding, Bridget? Why are you hiding? Is she hiding? A little bit. You still hiding? Okay. All right. So pull up the graphic here. Nathan Miller, by far the grassroots candidate, just purely volunteer based and all that kind of stuff. Actually raised a decent amount of money. And this is Senate District 9. So we're talking about Otter Tail County, northwestern Minnesota. It's the graphic on the campaign finance board. It's the, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, not the website. So if you look at, oh my God, look at you cleaning that bone. All right, so this is Nathan Miller. Yeah, I know, right? Nathan Miller's campaign funds raises, and I see line 2, it says individual contributions, about $36,000. That's the only source he raised money from. Got it? You see lines 3 and 4, lobbyists and political committees or otherwise PACs, nothing, right? So this is the grassroots camp. Now let's go to Jordan Rasmussen, who's like probably the Liz Cheney type. And look at that. You got, can you zoom in a tad there? So he's got $9,400 from lobbyists and $12,200 from political committees. And if we just scroll down real quick, looking at individual contributions, because I know I looked at this last night. So I was chatting with somebody about this race. And I'm guessing, so this is way northern Minnesota. Let's just look, stop right there. So you look at some of these donors. You have Texas, Massachusetts. Those are Otter Tail County, Fergus Falls. Keep going down a little bit. I'm guessing you're going to see a lot of out of state and out of district. No, these are from the district, Fergus Falls. So that assumption might be somewhat incorrect. Eden Prairie, so you get some of the city money coming up. Now go down to the end of this screen, and you'll see all the lobbyists that donate to him. And this is really interesting because this just shows, look at all these lobbyists right there. And they got a registered ID donating to these guys, right? And this is the same thing that happens to the Liz Cheney's of the world, is they want to keep these guys in. And why they want to keep them in? Because these guys are going to do their bidding. They're going to serve special interest. And so, you know, the Mitt Romney types, the whole swamp, they're all behind them. And in the case of that, it massively backfired. In the case of Nathan Miller versus Jordan Rasmussen, it was almost an upset. It was 3 points that Miller lost by, which is amazing. You know, when you look at the disadvantage Miller had over him. And then there's a lot of cases, we covered these last week, so I don't want to go over them again, but in Minnesota where you would consider the underdogs, the guys that didn't have the lobbyists and PACs supporting them, beat out the establishment guys. So anyhow, what did Trump have to say about this Cheney loss?
Yeah, go ahead and pull up that other graphic because Donald Trump isn't someone that hides his feelings. He's someone that calls it out. And right here, as you can see, he called out the uninspiring concession speech with a tiny crowd in the great state of Wyoming. And as you can see,
don't you have a Trump voice? Can't you do some Trump voice? I assume that with don't give me that screen back there. I gotta see that. Dawson, give me that screen back. I can't. Okay. I assume that with a very big Liz Cheney loss, far bigger than had ever been anticipated.
The January 6th Committee of Political Hacks and Thugs will quickly
begin the beautiful process of disillusion.
You guys need to work on it.
There's some work to be done.
I was on the spot there.
Uninspiring.
Hey, he's better.
Speech in front of a tiny crowd, very tiny folks, of the great state of Wyoming. See, I've been working on
very
this
tiny. That is
tiny.
Very tiny. So tiny. Never seen something that tiny before.
Yep. And another great thing that happened in Wyoming that we saw was Chuck Gray, the Trump-endorsed election integrity candidate for Secretary of State, also came out on top. So race after race after race, the people of Wyoming are ready to take back their state, and they're ready for election integrity and to take back our country.
Mm-hmm. So this loss, I mean, everyone kind of saw this loss happening, right? So,
yep.
Honestly, it's still sweet, but it wasn't like, oh my God, did you see Liz Cheney got taken out? So it's I don't know. To me, it would have been really cool to see everyone thinking that she was going to succeed. But regardless, I mean, their cash advantage must have been huge.
Right. So now she'll be on CNN or MSNBC. I'm sure she'll find a nice, cozy job to blow hot smoke up the American people's ass, and we can also see that she's gearing up for her own 2024 run, whether that be as an independent, a Democrat, or Republican. Liz Cheney wants to run against Donald Trump, and go ahead. Nobody that's ever going to vote for you is one of our people.
How are those wings going for you there?
You know, I saw it coming. Like, everybody saw it coming, but I mean, I had my money a little bit higher on predicted. I thought she'd get in the low 30s. But then, you know, who would have thought 28.9%? That's like Jim Newberger territory. That's terrible. I thought she'd at least get up in the
right.
That was a low blow there. How dare you? How are those wings tasting?
They're pretty good.
Yeah? Look at that. Look at that guy. Look at this. He's cleaning that bone.
You know, another guy that...
Have you ever seen something like that? You got a little bit in your beard, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, well, you got a screen over there.
You know, another guy...
God. Can't take this guy anywhere.
That was a big Mitt Romney fan, but not a big Trump fan, was Jake Cordes. When I saw the Romney graphic up there, I remembered some of his old Facebook posts about how Romney was a true hero and wish we had him instead of Trump.
Oh, yeah.
For those who don't know, who is Jay Cordes? And why does he particularly suck?
Well, he is an individual that was involved down in the.
He
The
challenged
old-
Bill
well,
Liskey,
yeah.
the endorsed primary or the endorsed candidate. So he challenged Bill Liskey for Senate in the primary down in Senate District 58. Double mask wearing, Fauci loving guy, right?
Yeah, prior to challenging Bill Liskey, he appeared on Twitter and Facebook with 2 masks, Pfizer T-shirt, his Walls approved, got my shot sticker, promoting the double vaccines and the COVID narrative that Walls used to close down our schools and cancel youth sports. That didn't play out too well down in the district there, where never being a never Trumper, double vax, triple mask.
Well, he was also promoting this
Something like that.
equity leadership team while he was on the Farmington School Board, and he was talking about this gay pride stuff and everything. So it's definitely an issue that would have upset a lot of the education choice folks and the just the general conservatives. He was not a real member of the Republican Party, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, most of these guys aren't. I mean, Liz Cheney, like the idea that these people were running the Republican Party, the Cheneys of the world were running the Republican Party 20, 30 years ago is insane.
Right. And even the establishment turned on her. The national GOP censured her, and same thing with the Wyoming GOP. So they did their effort in making sure that it was clear that she wasn't representing them. And the real reason she lost, it wasn't just all Trump. It was because she failed to represent the people of Wyoming. You have to represent their interests. And if you are there just for your own political games, people will see right through it. So I'm sure that there were people that weren't super high on Trump, but they still understood that Liz Cheney had to go.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Alaska real quick. My beloved second home. I love Alaska to death. I used to travel there before COVID. I traveled there every year, fished the Kenai River. The politics usually is pretty interesting in there, but we were having a little discussion in our show prep, and we're like, all right, so this is how Alaska works. And then all of a sudden, William and Jesse are like, do we even understand this? So we better be prepared for the show. Let's go look up online how the ranked choice voting system works. Now,
Yep, it was pretty intense. William and I almost got to blows. It was looking nasty there because we couldn't figure this thing out, but I think we got it all together now. But
Yeah,
the video
definitely
definitely
not.
explains what's going on.
let's just put it this way. Murkowski, very anti-Trump person, Lisa Murkowski, just, first of all, Alaska, and I know Alaska well, like, it is very conservative, very individualist, very rugged individualist kind of state. The fact that they got Lisa Murkowski, and it's really name at this point, that's been their representative in the U.S. Senate is ridiculous. And so she was very anti-Trump, and so she's kind of in the hot seat and facing a couple challengers. But in that case, it's not like one-on-one. It's like a whole bunch of people. And so we had this conversation like, well, it's ranked choice, but 4 of these guys advanced to the primary. So pull up that website, Dawson, real quick, and we're going to kind of go through this. They've got a video. They try explaining the system. Started from the beginning there. This is called How Ranked Choice Voting Works.
Alaskans will use ranked choice voting in general elections for federal and state races. Instead of choosing just one candidate, you fill in the oval in column 1 for the candidate you would most like to win. Then, vote for your second choice in column 2, and so on. Ranking other candidates does not impact your first choice, but you don't have to rank them all. For your vote to count, you should mark only one oval in each row and one oval in each column. We take the ballots and count all the first choices. If a candidate gets at least half of the votes in round 1, they win. If this doesn't happen, we continue to round 2, and the candidate with the least first choice votes is eliminated. We count the voters' next remaining candidate choice instead of their choice for the eliminated candidate, meaning they still have a say in who wins. We repeat these steps in rounds until there are only 2 candidates left, and whoever has the most votes wins. That's how ranked choice voting works. Check out our website and follow us on social media to make sure you're ready to rank it up, Alaska.
There you go. Very simple,
Alaskans
right?
will
We all
use
understand that.
Yep.
It's too easy to understand. It's very much like the Minneapolis system. I think it is the exact same. Is that correct? Do you know that, Jesse?
I don't think it's the exact same because so with their system and there was nobody who got over 50%, which was one of the examples they brought up in that video, which means that all of these races are going to be going to a second round.
No. okay, this is
this is
this
what
is
we
discussion. This is the argument we had.
Yeah.
You're incorrect on that, and here's why. So now, Dawson, go back to that website. I can't believe you did this, Jesse. I thought William might explain this to you. See under the
I
video.
thought
it says,
I explained it to you
No,
guys.
you are so wrong on this. Pick one primary, that one right there. Now click on that. So all right. So this is very easy. Just understand the nonpartisan primary. All right. So in order to get on the general election, and William, stop me if I'm not correct on this, but I think you and I are in sync on this. The general election is the ranked choice election.
Correct.
The primary is different. To get to the general, everyone goes to this nonpartisan primary election, which, by the way, most primaries are partisan. I can't even think of an example where they're not. In Minnesota, you can pick and choose which primary you want to vote because you get the same ballot. But once you vote for somebody in that party, you have to stay in that party. You can't go Democrat here, Republican there. So it says voters.
Nonpartisan primaries are like county commissioner, city council, school board.
Move that microphone back in front of him, William, there, because I think
Yeah,
it moved a little bit.
This is different. This is what they call like a jungle primary, where there's still party affiliations. So like on the county commissioner level, you don't register with a party. But in this case, everyone has a party affiliation, and then they just say, all right, go at it. Pick your. The difference here is that you can only select one, which is what caused confusion before the show. We thought it was ranked choice all the way, but no, apparently it's a normal ballot in the primary, ranked choice in the general.
Well, let's read this here. So it says voters will vote for one candidate in each race, and the top 4 candidates from each race will go on to the general election. All voters will get the same ballot regardless of the political affiliation, which happens here. But instead of here where you have one lane that's Republican and one lane that's Democrat and other parties, it's like a hodgepodge. Do you call that a jungle primary? Is that what you said? Is that your?
Yeah, a handful of states do it. I know
Right.
California does.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. You guys are more political experts in other states than I am. So the primary will not determine the nominee of any political party or group, but what it does do is it decides then who moves on to the general election, and they pick the top 4. And if there's only 3 people, then they're all automatically in the general election. So then the general election is where the ranked choice voting goes in, where they start counting the second. So that's where I think you're wrong, Jesse, is you're like, well, we haven't counted the second round. There's no second round in the primary ballot.
No, that's what I'm saying too. I was saying a second round, meaning the general election. So
Well, you can't say it that way.
well, it feels like that just based on how funky this system is. But it is a good debate and thing to think about with this ranked choice voting and if it's a good idea and who it's going to ultimately benefit. Because as Liberty people, we see plenty of Republicans that we say they don't actually represent what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice that there are these forms of changing how we vote to see if there's a better system. I don't know if that this is going to be a perfect system because we're seeing that this is benefiting Lisa Murkowski and other
Is it,
RINOs.
though? I don't know if it is. So let's go look at the results real quick, Dawson. I think it was on a Wikipedia page. And yeah, there we go. So
So
scroll
this
down.
is the U.S. House seat, and this is the special.
I thought we
one.
had the Murkowski one up.
We also have that one.
So what was Murkowski's numbers? Because she won, or at least last I checked. There it is. Scroll down to the bottom on that one, Murkowski.
Yep, that's the results up there.
No, that was the general, wasn't it? Go back up. Go back up a little bit, Dawson. Scroll down.
Yep,
See,
that's
this
the primary results that
Oh,
were
so the one that's colorful on the top? Up a little
correct.
bit?
No, we have the prediction. We're on the predictions right now, but scroll
Oh,
back
so
up.
scroll up. Sorry, scroll up.
Yep.
There you go, right there.
So
Can you
those
zoom
are
in
the-
a tad? All right, there we go. So, yeah, so Murkowski.
These are the still incoming results of the U.S. Senate race in Alaska. Lisa Murkowski's on top as of now.
So what
and-
they're showing is those top 4 people will be on the ballot. So there'll be 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat on the ballot in November, right?
Correct.
And so then what they do is they rank choice. So you'll say, so Murkowski won the primary, but it's a total moot point, right?
Yep.
And even if these numbers held out, you had more people with Murkowski as their first choice. She only got 44%. So Kelly could still win with ranked choice voting using these numbers, which are different numbers than the general election. More
Right.
people vote in a general election. So what they'll do is they'll select their first choice, their second, third, and fourth choice. And if someone doesn't get 50% in the first round, then it goes to second round, and you tally up the votes, and Kelly could be the victor.
Yep, absolutely. And it's looking like it may be able to work out so that Kelly Shibaka is the person to ultimately take out Lisa Murkowski. But Lisa Murkowski is a slimy politician, and she knows how to stick around. Ever since her dad, who became the governor, and he was the U.S. Senator, he filled his old U.S. Senate seat with his daughter. So that's how Lisa Murkowski was initially put in there.
Right.
She didn't win an election. Her dad put her in there.
Right, I know, and it's just disgusting. That's how it goes. I mean, you see this also, like a congressman dies and his wife fills the term. I mean, it's like the George Carlin bit. It's one big party, and you aren't invited, or you're not in it, right? All right, slimy politics, but let's go back to Minnesota here because that's why I brought Mr. How are those wings? How many do you have left, by the way? Are you out? You're all done?
They're gone.
And those are Thai curry from Buffalo Wild Wings?
Correct.
Before long, they'll be a sponsor of this show.
All flats.
Yeah, all flats. You got to wipe your cheek off a little bit there. You see the screen there? Nope. Would you get him a towel? For God's sake, William. Can't take this guy anymore. And he comes in late, by the way. We're going to start at noon. So if any of you guys are like, God, they said they were going to start at noon, and they didn't start till 12:01, it's because Tushy shows up. He's so punk rock here. He shows up, and he's at 12 o'clock. And then he goes over to my fridge and cracks open 3 Diet Cokes and pours them in a mug. I didn't even know I had a mug like this.
No, this is.
Well, you brought your own mug?
Yeah, I brought my own mug. Yes. Can you see the logo on this mug? Can we?
Can we zoom
No,
in?
I don't think you could see it.
It's unfortunate.
Well, hold on. Hold it steady. What is the logo? You don't have a
That's why I
clean
put-
paper towel, though?
That's why I put 3
We
Diet
could
Cokes
not
in
see
it,
the
so-
logo on that.
Right. Well, that's why I put 3 Diet Cokes in. I thought maybe it would the logo would be more.
That's the
visible.
only reason. You must be You must be 1.5 Diet Cokes in at this point.
Okay, can you turn it towards me? I think I see it. Oh, that's a Wiesenberg logo.
Oh,
Right
gotcha.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's a Wiesenberg logo with a bandana, so it turned from Wiesenberg to me. That's
Oh,
It did
okay.
not. Are you serious?
by adding the bandana. Yeah, exactly. And this was given to me because of my assistance with Wiesenberg's campaign. I was presented with this mug at the victory night, which I filled with margaritas. So
Oh, man. You guys are like
Then they're
bros.
like this
ZZ
one.
Top, you guys were made for each other. I just hope Jennifer is not jealous and sitting on the sidelines going, look at these, this is bromance going on.
second person to say something like that this week. We were up in Hackensack fishing, went to a small grocery store, and we threw all of our shore lunch and our, onions and everything that we were getting for our fish fry on the belt. And she said, "Are you two together?" I was like, "Just because we got beards and what? No, we're not together. I mean, we're just fishing. We're not a couple."
There's this story of Marcus Luttrell, who's the guy from the movie, what was that movie? Lone Survivor. So he's a Navy SEAL, and his brother, who actually is running for Congress, is a twin brother. So when they were going through BUDS, I think it was BUDS, some kind of Navy SEAL training. I think it was BUDS, the initial training. There was one day where one of them showed up for the other because they couldn't tell and looked like the same guy. You guys should pull that trick on the Minnesota Senate. Like, no one would be able to tell. I mean, you guys look the exact same, right?
Well, I don't know if it's. I actually told him this. So he got some email from Senate Victory Fund or something like this. Say, hey, come to our thing. We got lobbyists and PACs that give $10,000 each, $5,000 each. Come over. I think it's September 15th at the Minnesota Fairgrounds or something, or O'Gara's. Come out here. We got all these lobbyists and PACs have given a ton of money, and you come out, no cost to you, and you get drinks and food. And I said, yeah. Nathan will show up like 10 minutes late. He's like, well, who's the guy that's been here for 25 minutes already claiming to be Nathan Wiesenberg?
That's what you should do. Oh, my God. Oh,
I told him I was
God.
going to show up early.
You should take
Tell
all
him
the
I was
meeting with a
Nathan.
lobbyist, too.
Yeah.
They'll all think that's it. It's like that. It's like, God, there's a movie about this. Duplicity or something like that. Wasn't this Michael Keaton movie where he had, it was like a clone of him, and he's like, oh, I don't want to do the stupid work, so I'm just got my clone do the stupid work. That's what you could do. You do all the stupid work for Nathan Wiesenberg. It's not a good idea that we're just broadcasting this. Now everyone's onto it.
Yeah.
I thought it'd still be funny. We want a cameraman for that, by the way.
We tell a lot of people a lot of things, and they still don't figure it out.
That's
so.
true. Good point. Well, let's talk about Nathan Wiesenberg. This whole time, Tushy. Can I call you Tushy, or do I have to call you Liberty Longbeard?
It's like I was saying with Cordis, we tell them all these things they don't figure out. We can say this on air. Nathan, notice he won his primary. He posted on Facebook, June is Dairy Month, right? And then he won his primary. Now, when Cordis said Happy Pride Month, bam, he lost his primary. So if you're running a Republican primary, this is a simple example of, Anyway, you were
I'm sure that was the dynamic that played out in those elections. All right, so I, up to this point, and someone just gave us this secret video, never seen before, and we're going to publish this, but up to this point, I had always thought that it was you, Paul, you, Mr. Liberty Longbeard, that recruited Nathan Wiesenberg to run for office, encouraged him to run for office. I learned from this secret video that it wasn't indeed you. It was none other than Rhino Representative Ron Krisha. Do we have that video, Dawson? Let's show this never before seen video of Representative Ron Krisha, like lifetime rating of 32% or something like that. Not good. Telling nice bearded Nathan Wiesenberg that he should indeed run for office. In fact, I think he even gave him advice on how to do it. Do we have this video handy?
So, anyway, I'll let you comment from there.
Sure.
Thank you. Looks like you're running for office. Good luck. Hope it goes well. Yeah, I've taken lots of votes, and I'm sure I probably did vote for that bill, and I won't deny it.
Hey, pause it real
Those
quick.
bills are massive. And
Since we just went to this video, what Nathan's doing, he shows up at this Chamber of Commerce thing. Do you know when this was too? She was this last fall or something?
End of May.
Into May? Oh, into this last May.
Or maybe not.
No, it's got to be way earlier than that because he was running by then.
Oh, yeah.
So this must have been last fall. So he shows up this thing and he gives Paul Gazelka, former, I guess he's technically still a state senator, but he'll be a former, and then Ron Krisha, and he's giving them the business on these bad votes, especially the California car mandates that Ron Krisha voted for. So that's the context here. So go ahead and play that video again.
in case anybody wants, just go to the Secretary of State website. It costs $25.
So,
No, not that.
Anyway, I'll let you comment from there.
Sure.
Thank you. Looks like you're running for office. Good luck. Hope it goes well.
Did go well.
Yeah, I've taken lots of votes, and I'm sure I probably did vote for that bill, and I won't deny it. Those bills are massive, and I suspect part of the vote in there, and I have to go back and look specifically, was there was local programs and local benefits that we were going to see. In the House, there's 134 members. I can't get everything I want. And there are going to be Democrats the other side that are going to get policy conversations and policy changes. And no matter who's in these seats, you end up voting for massive bills. And because you have to, it's part of the process. And if I'm going to help out with rent control, or if I'm going to help out with housing, or if I'm going to help out with our schools, I have to make compromises and I have to get bills and policies into other things that are going to pass. It's the way it works. Doesn't mean my values have changed as a human being. It means that I'm doing good governance to make sure that many of the situations that we have here are good. It's the way it works. I won't shy away from a single vote I've taken. I've been here, I've been in front of you, I've been transparent for 10 years, and you have a choice. If you don't believe I've been honest and you don't believe that I've been who I am, in November you're going to have an opportunity to vote for me and to bring me in or out. That's totally up to you. I just keep the seat warm, and maybe you're the guy that'll have it next.
You know, Ron said he votes for huge omnibus bills, is what we need to stop doing. That's why we get this crap in there. We need to have one vote, not these big pork bills. So if we want to get things that happen in our community, let's have one bill, not say this is the way it works. That's not the way it has to work. We can stand up and fight back and not say, well, it's the way it works, let's keep doing it. We need things to change, and doing it the way it's happening right now isn't working.
Like a boss that throws a microphone out there. I love it.
What's so great about this is that Nathan Wiesenberg, the man you just watched, speaking at the chamber meeting, will be essentially replacing Paul Gazelka, the guy who's sitting next to Ron Krisha, who's speaking.
Because Ron said you should run for office, basically, and he provided advice to roll that video. Like, I think at that point Nathan didn't know how you even do it, so Ron Krisha provided him great advice. What was that?
In case anybody wants, just go to the Secretary of State website. It costs $25, and you can register to be a candidate. You have to do that by June.
So that's
Wow, I
much
mean,
wrong.
it wasn't on his calendar, and unfortunately, to Nathan, he thinks Ron owes him $75 because it ended up costing $100 to run for office. But he didn't know this, so thanks, Ron. Amazing.
But my point with that is, Paul Gazelka is the architect of years of omnibus bills. The guy cut the deals. He did the backroom deals. And now you have Nathan Wiesenberg, who's going to be representing the people of Morrison County and the surrounding areas, who's totally opposed to omnibus bills. A complete change in direction, and it may as well be a change in party as well.
A finer point hasn't been made. But I don't know if he's the architect. I feel like that goes to Kurt Dowd, who was leader of a caucus before even Gazelka was. And we brought Tushy in today because he was at an event. We don't like to mention the event, but an event that Mr. Dowd was speaking at yesterday, and he had some kind of crazy admission about omnibus bills. What did he say?
I just remember him saying that he was going to end omnibus bills, and he's the one that has the power to do that.
He made a campaign promise yesterday that he's going to be done with omnibus bills. Is that correct?
Yep, he said he's the only one who can do it, but he's going to put an end to omnibus.
Even though he's voted for many, and that's how he's governed when he was the Speaker of the House, he's going to finally end them.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't
have
think
doubts.
that. Yep, I have my doubts. I don't think that he's going to be the one to do it. It's going to be the people like Nate and the outsiders that step inside of the arena and say that we're not doing this anymore. No more omnibus bills. No more 1,000-page bills that you don't even know what's going on inside them. The politicians never read them. And that was a beautiful moment when Nate called out Ron Krisha that right to his face.
But I'll tell you what, I mean, I'll praise Kurt Dowd if he actually ends these things. I agree.
Sure.
I'm not believing he's actually going to do it. What else came from that meeting yesterday?
Well, it's kind of like in the House when Mort puts a bill in the hopper and all of a sudden some other rhino puts the same thing in. They see that the writing's on the wall. We're going to stop these omnibus bills. So now I'm done with the omnibus bills. I'm going to stop them.
Yeah, I don't believe him for a second.
Yeah.
What other nuggets came from this meeting yesterday? And by the way, I believe Nathan actually spoke at this thing.
Nathan was there to speak.
Yeah.
Get these things off here.
Yeah.
Echoing.
Yeah, you
So,
get the echo.
Yeah. So Nathan was there to speak, and he was told the audience, I got involved because I went to my rep, Ron Krisha. I said, what can we do about this garbage? And he said, well, basically nothing until we get more people elected. And he said, that's the wrong answer. And Kurt wouldn't even look at him when he said that. But and then there was another candidate who was there who had won a primary after doubt-aligned groups had spent an absolute fortune attacking her. And so Kurt said, well, we need to come together. Now we all need to come together after every candidate that the HRCC had on their calls, which was what? Lunan, Monson, the 28 guy, Jesse, what his name? And
Tina Riley.
And Tina, yep. So
Yep.
all four of those were on the weekly calls, and they all got their butts kicked. And so Kurt comes up to speak right away. First thing, we all have to come together now. We have to come together. It's like, yeah, when everybody that you just spend a fortune on and personally attacked, viciously attacked, untruthfully attacked.
Lied about him, right?
Just lied about
we talked
these
about this
people
last week on
constantly.
the show. Mark Bishofsky says he's a Democrat, says Mark Bishofsky is against or is for vaccine mandates, which is like the guy lost his job because of vaccine mandates. Says Eric Morrison's voting like a Democrat, spending like a Democrat, which Mort has never voted for a spending bill in his time in office. Lies, just complete lies. And then he's like, oh, but let's all unify, by the way. But then I understand he still slammed Mark Bishofsky. He was still going after Mark Bishofsky.
Well, he got up there first and said, we all have to unify because we all have to come together. And the first question to him after he finally took questions, well, he comes up and says, oh, I got a speaking engagement in 10 minutes at 1 o'clock. So I only have 10 minutes to speak, but I'm going to finish up quickly so I have plenty of time for questions. And he spoke for several minutes, ate it most of the time. First question, well, why did you guys spend $100,000 against the conservatives and the endorsed candidates? And he said, no, we didn't spend, we didn't do that at all. You got false information, you're lying. So then there's a second little question to him that he got to give, ask for money for the HRCC or something. So then the third question is some of the guys said, well, I take issue with it. You said you didn't spend all this money. There had to be at least spent against Bashofsky. He goes, well, thank you so much for bringing up that race. Bashofsky, that guy is a Democrat, and he's a total Democrat, voted for Democrats. He's just a Democrat. And then the guy goes, he's not a Democrat. And if he was a Democrat, why would he win his endorsement 82% to 18% from the Republicans?
This doesn't sound like unifying, though, right?
And
he's not very He's not. Where's the unity, Kurt?
That's a good point.
Thank you.
Didn't realize that at the time. He's just, this guy's a Democrat. And then some people were like, no, he's not a Democrat. You said he was for vaccine mandates, and he clearly was the opposite and had the biggest organization against these things. And he said, well, say what you will, but the facts remain. He voted in the Democratic primary. People in the audience are yelling, so did I!
Yeah.
It's like...
All right, I can't believe we also have our Viking. Go behind Jesse's chair. We'll put everyone over there. We got our own California import, the Viking. You need a stool. Go get that. You got that stool.
I got the stool.
No, what are we going to do? You're done with that stool. Here, just grab that stool because he's done with his wings.
Yeah.
He doesn't need that anymore.
Let me take the wings
There you go.
good sir, too.
We got your backside on camera there.
Oh.
No, I was talking about Mr. Viking.
You were already.
Oh, look at that. We shot up in the 40 to 50-year-old women demographic.
First one's free, ladies.
This is just great. So there we go. How you doing, Noah?
Oh, I'm not too shabby. I mean, coming off of a hot victory this week. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Liz Cheney has been booted from Congress.
You missed that part of the show. We went through those results.
Oh, I know you did, but I couldn't contain myself. I have to celebrate whenever a warmonger bites the dust, metaphorically, unfortunately.
No, I would think you're a Liz Cheney person looking at that T-shirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you actually pay attention, this shirt.
Zoom
here,
in on that there real quick.
I wore this in honor.
Can you move
of
your
one
Christian
of the,
anarchy symbol real quick?
I wore this in honor of one of the most expansive national security shills in the United States.
Where do you even get that thing?
Oh, I have my people.
There's a real patriot in Minnesota that created a shirt, and it's NSA, the only government that's listening to you. The only part of government that's listening to you. Was that the shirt?
Yeah, either
That's
the
a
only
good
part of
one.
government that actually listens, or the only
Yeah.
government agency that actually listens.
That was so good. So you're buying NSA stuff, huh?
Oh, you know me, true believer.
I guess so. Where does that fit in your Christian anarchy?
Right where everything else does, comfortably. No, but I mean, it's awesome to see that there was more than just her on the statewide level. There was probably 6 or 7 different very good wins in Wyoming when it comes to the state house.
Yep.
Fella I know, Ocean Andrew won his primary.
Oh yeah,
again.
yeah. That's the food truck guy, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah. He does like grilled fish.
Wait,
I
so
think.
what did he win?
State house.
I thought he was. So did he get challenged? Because wasn't he a state house member?
I'm pretty sure
right?
he was getting challenged by the establishment. I think that he'd been too honest for most Republicans in the state house.
Oh yeah,
So
we know how
he
that
went
goes.
for-
Yeah, same
We
thing with
do.
Mortensen. He got challenged, and
Yeah,
Bob Luna
it's,
didn't win.
He didn't. Nobody that really wanted to knock out our champions got their chance. So I don't know. Maybe we'll be voting Democrat in November.
Yeah. What else is new with you? It's been a while. Been a week.
Just looking to move out of St. Paul. Finally, fingers crossed. We'll be able to get outside of the Twin Cities and I can have some sanity restored. But just chugging along, trying to make some plans to help out with some different races across the state.
If I remember right, we hired you to do our state fair booth this year, didn't we?
Yes,
So there you go, ladies. If you want to see Noah,
Come out and say howdy. I'll be happy to chat with you about ways we can dismantle the people controlling our very lives.
Sweet. So let's talk about State Fair for a second. So if you see this right here, this sign, this is the forbidden sign. This was actually stolen by the State Fair last year. This is our Tyrant Walls poster. If you want one, we have plenty left, and we'll be distributing them at the State Fair. Not my Tyrant, right? Actually, we had mugs too. I wonder if we still have some of those mugs. But anyhow, yeah, we're different than most people at State Fair. We put the message that people want to hear in front, and I think honestly, people just at the State Fair front office were a little upset how popular we were at the State Fair, because we had Never Again on the top, and we had this big sign, King Walls, eating the Liberty drumstick, and he's got the Constitution right back there. He's dragging the Constitution, his greasy Constitution, because he really doesn't care about it. You can't say this guy cares about the Constitution. And we put that right on top of the State Fair booth. And I get a call first day. Were any of you guys working at that time? Tushy, were you working the first day?
Yeah.
Okay, so they call and they say, hey, you need to take down that sign. I go, what do you mean we got to take down the sign? Well, it's offensive to the governor. And I go, well, yeah, that is the point of the sign. It is supposed to be offensive to the governor, and he deserves it. And they go, well, we do not approve of this sign. And I said, well, first of all, we did send you the design ahead of time, so there's that. And number two, you're on government property, and we have the right to free speech. This is political speech. It's protected. We're not taking down the sign. So somewhere between 10 o'clock and 6 a.m. in the morning, they stole our signs. 2 signs. We had one on the front and back, and they stole our signs. And so we had to send a letter from our lawyer. It got a lot of publicity and everything. And eventually we created 2 new signs and put them back up. And then eventually they returned our signs to us, and we auctioned these things off. We raised a ton of money for the Liberty cause here in Minnesota. So this year, and I don't want to reveal it ahead of time, but we'll talk about it next week when we do a show. We got another sign that's going up, and let's just put it this way. Not very flattering to Mr. Walls again, and probably even stronger message. So I can't wait to do. Who's working? Are you, Jesse, are you working the booth?
Sure, might as well.
I guess you would be too. So we'll have Noah, Jesse. I have no idea what you're doing, Tushy. Maybe you're not even hireable. Maybe you can volunteer one day. Maybe I'll pay you in wings.
Wings.
Actually, let me ask you this question. Is there a good place at the State Fair to get wings? Or what is the best place to get wings at the State Fair? I don't think I've ever eaten wings at the State Fair.
I've eaten all the wings at the State Fair. I'm trying to think.
You pay him for the first day so he finds the right place.
Trying to think what it's called. I know Michelle even was there having a few beverages.
Not when she was working.
What?
When she was working?
And when she was enjoying the fairgrounds.
But after my shift, I hired.
It's an outdoor. I'm trying to think. It's like a tropical themed, like a bar, tropical themed bar thing.
Oh,
you know
yeah, that's
about.
over kind of close to the Midway.
Yeah,
if
I think they have the best wings. You asked where the best wings.
Yeah.
Those were, I think, the best ones I found last year.
Gotcha. Okay. I got to get Michelle on the show. She's awesome. Yeah.
She can tell you the name of that place, but yeah. You
know I know what you're talking about. It's like, it's maybe right by I think it's by the DNR exhibit, right? Where they got all the fish in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you should show Nathan that fish exhibit so he can see what a real normal sized fish looks like. Is he still watching? State Fair. Pull up our website, actionforliberty.com, Dawson. And if you see on the top, we got volunteer for the State Fair. Now, if you click on that and you want to work a 6-hour shift, you get a free T-shirt and a free ticket to the State Fair. And you can see, look how much fun. Like, there's not a single person who isn't smiling at that State Fair. Trust me, I'm not just tooting our horn. People really enjoyed working our State Fair. Great conversations. We got a lot of people into the movement from it, which is part of the reason that this big grassroots movement's working right now, is because we had volunteers there, showed up, and got people to get active in politics. So you go sign on there and work a shift at the State Fair. If you can't do that, go ahead and donate to us too. You can help us out with some of those costs, because I'll tell you what, it's not cheap to go to the State Fair. You know, it's actually licensing is cheap, but you know, all these other things get to be kind of expensive, lip pieces and stuff like that. So we'll be doing that, and that starts next Thursday. It's a week away. Bridget, can you believe that? 1 week away, we got the State Fair. Wow. And I think you know about this, Bridget, because Bridget did all the work.
Increasing.
Bridget, did you see that they approved our design this year?
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay, because I was thinking they were going to do the same move, so.
Wait, does that mean we're establishment now? They approved it. They gave
I
us
know.
the okay.
It's not. I feel like it's.
We're
we
old
got.
hat. We're out.
It's probably not far enough this year, Jake.
I'm guessing. Yeah, we really screwed it. By the way, Bridget, you'll be at the State Fair, won't you?
All day, every day.
Morning. You're doing the morning shifts, right?
I'll probably alternate, actually.
All right. So if you want to see Bridget, wave at the camera there, Bridget. There you go. If you want to come see Bridget, she'll be working starting Thursday, August 25th at the Great Minnesota Get Together. 2 million people show up to State Fair, roughly. So it's the best place to get your message in front of voters. Let's close down the show with our weekly Stump the Trump segment, where we throw things at Jesse Smith, who's the The biggest fan of Donald Trump. Did we miss any graphics? You did have one more graphic for Trump, didn't you?
Yeah, there was a couple of other things going on that he had been putting on Truth Social. If you are not on Truth Social, I do not know what you are doing with your life, because it is the most entertaining content, the best memes, everything that's on there. It's better than Facebook. It's better than Twitter. It's better than just about everything. So if you're not on there to listen to the 45th president just speak his mind and say the truth and mess around, it's one of the best websites on the internet. Get on there.
Jesse, I have my first question for the Stump the Trump segment.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Let's hear it.
Other than following the 45th President of the United States, why would I ever download Truth Social?
Because not only do you get Donald Trump, but you get Alex Jones. Alex Jones, the most banned man on...
Is he really on that? I didn't know that.
Of course Alex Jones is allowed on there. Are they going to ban him from there too? No, he's been...
Get banned now that he supports DeSantis.
Yeah, I had read something like that too. I think me and Alex Jones need to have a talk.
DeSantis?
There was an article that said that. I haven't listened to his show to confirm that. I don't think that Alex Jones is going to do that. I think he knows better. He knows better than to do that.
Well, Jesse, I mean, to contribute to Stump the Trump, did you see the most significant recent news that Trump's lawyer just folded over tax fraud, and he's going to actually confess against Trump, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. He's
Testify
gonna
against Trump.
Yeah,
for tax fraud.
but yeah, I could probably field this one, Jesse. But I'm not the one that's being challenged here. So Jesse, you've seen this, right? I think it was a CFO or something
I
like
didn't
that.
see it, but
Pull up. It was right on Drudge Report this morning. Drudge Report, which is just so anti-Trump. That's the most interesting thing. Like, conservatives have been going to Drudge Report since the Clinton era. That's what put Drudge on the map. I think they're the ones that broke the Monica Lewinsky story before the media refused to do it.
Yeah.
And Drudge is like so anti-Trump, so it's just hatred, and I don't know how much that's plagued him. There we go. Weaselberg sentenced to Rikers. Oh, he got sentenced today?
wow.
Click on that
And
real quick.
Rikers Island is no joke.
To clarify,
He's
I'm not exactly knocking against this guy either for the tax fraud. I'm just saying he's being indicted on it.
Trump Organization CFO pleads guilty in tax evasion case. Well, he's a masker, so.
Yep. Weak man. Of
Scroll.
course.
Would you please scroll in real quick? I want to read this thing.
The strong ones never stand with Trump, and this is another
Can you
example.
get rid of that? Can you get rid of that stupid
Did you just say
pop-up
the
window
strong
there?
ones never stand with Trump?
Yeah. No,
No, the
hit the
strong
X.
ones never abandon Trump.
Oh,
The
Yes,
weak
there was
ones
a-
always
there was
leave.
a car battery and some jumper cables.
There you go.
involved
All
in
right,
that
so
confession.
a top executive at former President Donald Trump's family business pleaded guilty Thursday to evading taxes in a deal with prosecutors that could potentially make him a star witness against the company at trial this fall. Trump
Another
Organization
star
CFO.
witness.
Trump Organization CFO Alan Weaselberg pleaded guilty to all 15 of the charges he faced in the case. In a low, somewhat hoarse voice, he admitted taking in over $1.7 million worth of untaxed perks, including school tuition for his grandchildren, free rent for a Manhattan apartment, and lease payments for a luxury car, and explicitly keeping some of the plums off the books. That's what he's getting sentenced to prison for? School tuition, free rent, and lease payments?
That's pretty crazy.
Like, first of all, screw you, IRS, you know? Like, screw you. Like,
Yep.
that's
And all
I don't believe in the
87,000
IRS.
of you new ones too.
that's right. So
Losers.
so I'm very curious what the law is here, because obviously there are perks that go untaxed. It's very common in the corporate world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, per diem payments, stuff like that. Good God. All right, go back to that article. That's fascinating. That's what they're getting him on.
Yeah.
Judge Juan Manuel Merchan agrees to sentence Weaselberg to 5 months in New York City Rikers Island jail complex, although he will be eligible for release much earlier if he behaves while behind bars. The judge said Weaselberg will have to pay nearly $2 million in taxes, penalties, and interest, and complete 5 years of probation. By the way, the guy's like, isn't he 75 years old? He's really old. Can you imagine going to prison at that age?
Wow.
He's getting Al Capone.
So, all right. So, do you think this guy testifies and gives? First of all, this is after Trump's president, right? You think if this thing was so shady, they would have found this stuff like 5 years ago, right?
Yep. No, exactly. I'm shaking. I'm so nervous. What's gonna happen? No, of course not. It's. I mean, we've seen this play out time after time after time. Another star witness is out here to get Trump. We're finally gonna get him. Not going to happen.
I mean,
walls are
you would
closing
have
in.
figured that the same thing would have been true when it came to other things like the fact that corporations all of a sudden decided to become greedy when it came to gas prices after Trump lost. Very convenient, right? It's always after the fact. They don't bring it up whenever they have the chance to strike the iron, and that's the typical political dodge, right?
Yeah.
Never execute whenever you have the power. Always complain whenever you're under the foot.
Yeah. I do feel bad doing this Stump the Trump segment today after Trump's house was raided. That and Noah and I are like towering over Jesse in his chair, so I feel like
Yeah,
it's
but
a
he's
new
holding his
dynamic.
own. I don't feel bad. I think Jesse's 2-0 right now. So
And that's
even
how it feels.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was just asking the frank question because I didn't know. I just heard the news this morning. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he gets through it. Hopefully there's nothing they can actually catch him on because something stupid can be a reason why powerful people get toppled.
But I mean, this seems so obvious with the raid, and this is completely separate to that. I feel like I'm missing something, a third thing. But regardless, it's just like this is just a ploy. Oh, the January 6th committee. It's just that thing. It's all a ploy to make sure this guy is tarnished so he can't run again in 2024. Which, by the way, Jesse, when the hell is he going to announce?
The sooner the better. I mean, I'm ready anytime. So it could be tomorrow. It could be today, and I'm ready to go. So it's up to Trump. It's always up to Trump. So whenever he thinks it's best.
It'd be a pretty 4D chess move to wait until all the bad news comes out and then announce, and then that's the news that.
Well, that
everyone
wasn't that
hears.
your suggestion, Jesse, that he puts the cameras on him when the raid happens and he announces? I mean, like that would have been a pretty baller move. Well, here's the other thing. You got this elephant in the room, right? And it's Donald Trump running for 2024. So until that happens, doesn't that change the dynamics of everyone else that wants to get in the race?
Oh, definitely. And the longer he, holds out, it's going to make some of these other Republicans who really want to be president have to continue to wait because they know that there's not a single person in the Republican Party who can beat Donald Trump. If they're going to run anybody, it's just going to be to divide us and out of a protest vote.
But we do have that modern day Lincoln. Liz
Oh,
Cheney,
yeah.
she pretty much announced the other day she's running for office. By the way, I fully support Liz Cheney running for president. Like, can you imagine that debate stage?
Oh yeah, if Trump feels like he even has to debate her, which of course he doesn't, but if he just wants to have fun, I'd love to see him bully.
For 1 second, come on. You're saying he's not going to debate Liz Cheney on that stage?
I don't know if he would. It'd be up to him, but
Why would he not?
There's no benefit to it unless.
Yes, there is. There's huge benefit. Huge benefit. That is the best entertainment. First of all,
Oh, it would be entertaining, but he doesn't need to give that crooked witch any more time.
yeah, but in this case, the time would be real bad for her. I mean, it's not going to go well for her.
Right.
And she's going to think I made these great points because I'm the modern day Lincoln. And I've got all these great arguments. I got him on this thing. And Trump is just going to blow. Like, it's just going to
Yep.
be insane what he's going to do.
Ruin her
because
spot,
he's
yep.
smart. He's actually very tactically smart as a politician, on his feet.
Yep.
And we all watched that when he just decimated Jeb Bush and Marco. Oh, my God. Did you just really finish that Diet Coke? That's 3 Diet Cokes. Did you really just
I
finish
think it was
that?
2.5.
We've only done the show for an hour. Was it really 2.5?
I think it was 2.5.
Well, I suppose I should know that, right? Because those are usually beers that go in that sucker. Although with you, margaritas.
I mean, all I'm saying is I think you guys are going to look pretty foolish about this Trump or Cheney thing whenever you're all praising President Kasich, okay? He's a sleeper. People forgot.
Yeah.
They thought it ended with the spaghetti. It didn't. We're all
Yeah.
gonna be eating spaghetti for the next 4 years.
I actually don't understand this reference here. What's the spaghetti
John
reference?
Kasich,
No, what is-
his presidential tour of just going from diner to diner eating plates of pasta.
If this is
Oh.
after Ted Cruz dropped out, it was just John Kasich and Donald Trump, and these photos of him just like shoveling spaghetti in his mouth
I
came
think
out.
he realized. I think he saw the writing on the wall, and he was just sprinting from diner to diner, seeing how many he could pack in before he had to call it quits.
like
I
a-
could get 45 spaghetti before I have to call it.
Tushy, it's like a strategy of buying one billboard before election, right? You know, that'll certainly change things.
Actually, I think I have a map. It's not a professional map, but a map here with me that shows by precinct who won the precincts in District 10, which are the 3 candidates. And Morrison County was, of course, won by Nathan Weisenberg.
How big of a victory was it?
How big of a victory in what?
Do you know what the margin was? Because for people that don't know, Wiesenberg was going up against career politicians, one being a guy who was from Morrison County as well, Steve Wenzel.
Yep.
So he beat Steve Wenzel in Morrison County, because that would be like, that's what you would think would be Steve Wenzel's like good area, right?
Yeah, it was a narrow margin in Morrison County. Like, I think
Gotcha.
they both had, maybe Steve had low 1700s and Nathan had high 1700s, and then Newberger was down just about half of that in Morrison County. But his billboard was located right in the center of Morrison County, basically. I mean, it was just a couple miles south of Little Falls.
Yeah.
So everyone drove through on 10, saw that. Well, nobody saw it because it was hard to see. But
It was peeling too, wasn't
his
it?
his $1,000 billboard. Actually drove past there yesterday and saw that it was gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. So,
What do you got this? So that's the map?
That's the map. Yeah.
Oh, look at this. We got props on.
Actually,
Only God knows what's in
Well,
that
you guys
back.
are
Right?
also going up against the world's most pathetic political dynasty, right?
What's the dynasty?
the political family that was like just trying to like sabotage Nate from the get-go.
Oh, you're talking about the Morrison
the
County.
Morrison County
yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
GOP,
Yeah.
like the
Oh, yeah.
silliest little political dynasty.
So
It is.
the Morrison County
There's
GOP.
when you say dynasty, that exists in a lot of different areas. By the way, that's not the only one. Trust me.
Morrison County GOP was firmly behind Newberger, who finished in third. I remember I was chatting with.
Hashtag winning.
I don't know if he's the still deputy chair of Morrison County or not. I know Nathan's had difficulty getting invited to the BPOU meetings, even though he's a delegate, and now
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 gonna
the
be the state
candidate.
senator.
So I said maybe reach out again and see if they'll let you go to a BPOU meeting now that
Yeah.
you're entitled to go to anyway. But the either former and possibly current deputy chair, although he's now on the ballot for House, Isaac Schultz. We were chatting at the Kanabec County Fair. We were chatting there a bit, and I said, "Well, yeah, of course, Newberger's going to finish in third." He's like, "What?" He's like, "You think this is going to be between Wiesenberg and Wenzel?" I said, "Yeah, you haven't been talking to voters out there on the campaign trail." He goes, "Well, I don't really talk about the Senate race." I'm like, "Yeah, Newberger's going to be in third." And there was a bunch of online banter on different pages, different sites, different groups like pro-life groups, pro-gun groups, and there's these comment threads, where the handful of Newberger people in like the Morrison County BPOU, the establishment, Ron Cretia brought Newberger with him everywhere around the district that he could possibly bring him. Every county, every parade, it was Cretia and Newberger, and and so these guys in this tiny circle of the BPOU officers and the political establishment in Morrison County were like, "Yeah, Newberger's the man," and like everybody else. People's like, who? There's people ask Nate, just you and Wenzel are running, right? Well, there's this other guy, he carpetbagged here at the end, to this church parsonage, but most people don't know about him, and they're like, yeah, I never heard of him, so it's mostly you and Wenzel. Yeah, I think I'll vote for you. But he was, I remember at that fair and elsewhere, but he was just shocked. You think it's going to be between Wiesenberg and Wenzel, and Newberg's going to be third? Like, almost like,
Yep, and you called it.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
The establishment in the state, all of these establishment people are like almost delusional about their own power and their own influence. They think that they're like these hot shots. You have like honest, humble people like Nate who just win because they're the actual real people who are unafraid to represent our values. And then you have the Jim Newbergers who carpetbag in. It's like you have your Nates or your people who like tell me, "Hey buddy, do you know who you're talking to? These men control Delano." And it's like you think you have like an empire at your fingertips, but it's like it's all about the relationship of power, right? These people care about power and not the people, and we care about the people.
Speaking of carpetbagging, there's another case, and I don't know if we mentioned this last week, but Tori Westrom, which is Senate District, help me out here. Do we know?
12.
12? Senate District 12? And apparently one of, so his residency is being challenged now.
Yeah, there was apparently filed at the end of May, and I know that there's three candidates. There's Republican, Democrat, and then Ashley is running under the party We the People. Got like 700 signatures, got on the ballot as a third party. So her party is We the People. And people told her, "Hey, check out his address that he filed under, because that's not his house where he's lived for decades, and where he's been in there for I think 25 years or something like that, right, in office, and ran for Congress in 2014. So anyway, he's been a politician for a long, long time. It's like, this is not his address. I don't know what the address is. You should check it out." So think at some point in like mid-July, she's like, I checked out that address, and you know what? It's completely overgrown, and it's very, very evident that no one lives there whatsoever. And then, and then he's like, they slapped her as soon as she actually filed this with the Supreme Court, and it's being heard. The counties are going after her in these two different counties. The county where, she surveilled his house where he claims he doesn't live, but he's clearly there all the time, and then the county where he claims he lives at this house that's completely overgrown. It's like, you went to my overgrown property where nobody lives, that's like uninhabited, and like took pictures to show that nobody lives there. Like, that's trespassing. Like, not like, oh, I'm sorry, I lied, and
So, like, for people that don't understand, like, every 10 years there's a census. So 2 years after that, so the first election cycle after the census year, and these are every decade, so 2000, 2010, 2020. So 2022, there's new districts because people move, things shift, right? California loses, 3 congressional districts or something like that? At least 3. Because people flee to Texas, right?
Or Minnesota. We flew to Minnesota too.
Yeah, well, Minnesota barely hung on. Like, it was like 80 votes or something like that before losing a congressional district.
what was interesting is the COVID wave hit New York first.
Yeah.
And based on like what was it, April 30th or whatever the date was. It was just after the before Walls placed COVID infected patients in nursing homes. It was just before that. And so then Minnesota hung on and held 8 congressional seats by 89 votes or 89 people or something like that. New York had just had 500 die or something like that in the weeks before.
So they dropped new boundaries, and because legislators' top priority is just getting reelected, right? That forces many of them to take new opportunities where they exist. And those opportunities could be that you got districted in with a very Democrat-leaning district like Dave Osmick, so he moves to, where the heck was that? It was out
Senate
west.
District 17.
Hey, by the way, Bridget,
Bronco.
I got someone showing up to the studio. I don't know if I heard them knocking, but can you check and see if someone's at the front door? Yeah. So what was that? Say,
The
this
Senate
guy,
District, yeah, because he was my Senate. He still is my senator technically, but no, he wanted to move west to Senate District 17, and he got this big pushback because Representative Glenn Grunhagen was going to step up to run for Senate. And I believe Osmick competed for the endorsement. I could be wrong on that.
I think you're
lost.
right.
He lost miserably, and he just said, "Well, whatever. Yeah, I'm done."
Yeah. So he was one that moved. Or maybe he didn't move, or said he was gonna move.
Right.
Yeah, just keep an eye on. Yeah, it should be here any minute. Then you got Gene Dornick, and that one's possibly still contested. I think we talked about last week that it was thrown out. So he gets districted in with Carla Nelson. So then he apparently buys up some properties, and one of those properties, actually, the one he said on TV is not the one he moves into, and so there's people that surveilled his house and suggest that he wasn't living there, gathered evidence. The Supreme Court threw it out because of the timing, not because of the evidence. So who knows where that's going to go, but that's now in the hands of the Democrats, which is crazy.
Yep.
Then you got Newberger, who had no roots in that district, and leaves Sherburne County and moves to a church parsonage, right? He lived, okay. And just so he could live in the district by May 8th. Then Tory Westrom, which is being alleged in this case. What am I missing? Is there any other big ones here?
I don't think there are any other big ones, but you're leaving out a critical part of the story here.
Oh, please inform me here.
Because Tory Westrom totally could have run in his own district after the lines were drawn, but State Representative Jordan Rasmussen, who we talked about earlier, announced that he was running, and I guess the Senate caucus values Jordan Rasmussen in the Senate more than they value Tory Westrom, that's a little sad to see. I mean, the guy was an incumbent senator. And if you look at the evidence that Ashley Kleinbell submitted to the Supreme Court, you can actually see a Nathan Miller sign outside his old residence, which I think is hilarious. He's backing the non-establishment candidate because the establishment candidate kicked him out of his own district.
Yeah, I just thought about this. We were looking at Paul Gazelka's governor campaign. So obviously he lost the endorsement and he's not running for governor anymore. But he's made a lot of donations.
Well, he lost the endorsement, but he didn't come in last. Wait, he did come in last.
Yeah, he
place.
did come in last.
Yeah, that's right.
And so he's been donating to a bunch of people like Sheldon Munson, who was challenging Mike Weiner and lost the endorsement, or was challenging the endorsed candidate. Paul Uckey, who challenged Brett Busman against the endorsed candidate. So it's like, yeah, these guys don't give a crap about the endorsement. For those of you that aren't from Minnesota, we got a goofy system here, and in some ways it's nice. There's a party endorsement, and from legislative races, that's usually in March, April timeframe, all the way up to statewide candidates that's done in May. But anyone can file for the primary, okay? And the nice thing about the primary is if the endorsement process is corrupt, then there's a remedy, and the remedy is a state-run primary. However, endorsed candidates usually succeed. Well, the establishment always talks about unity, like we were talking about before with Doubt. We got to have unity, and they love the endorsement when they get it, but when they don't get it, they don't give a crap about the endorsement. I learned this lesson like back in 2016 timeframe when Doubt was doing a fundraiser for Cal Barr's opponent. Hackbarth, yeah. And it's like, this is the Speaker of the House, the leader of the HRCC, and he's doing a fundraiser for the unendorsed candidate. It's like, yeah, these guys don't give a crap about it. Of course they don't. Because, once again, politicians care about one thing, and that's getting elected or getting reelected.
We've got another comment for Stump the
You got
Trump.
a comment for Stump the Trump?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, we're off that segment.
Yeah,
too
kinda
bad. They're too late.
Are we done?
All right, well, I got to ask, Jesse, will you take a Stump the Trump?
Let's take it. Bring it on.
All right, here we go.
All right, so on Facebook, Laura Catalina Laszlo says, y'all think Trump would make a better candidate than DeSantis?
Absolutely. 100% obvious. Yep. I think that Donald Trump did it once, and he'll do it again. DeSantis is obviously, he did a good job as governor. He stood up to the COVID nonsense and the tyranny that was going on. He prevented a lot of it from going on in Florida, and he's proven himself to be good on several other issues. However, we have to have someone who is uncompromising, someone who has been in the limelight and doesn't back down. COVID isn't the only issue. It's going to move on and be passed. So we need to have someone who's going to be strong for us on everything that we need. And America First, Donald Trump is the guy for it. There's nobody like him. And DeSantis, he also calls out the media, but not like Trump. There's nobody who does it like Trump. And he's the best at what he does. So I say give him another chance. I'm not 100% bought in on this DeSantis becoming the president following.
You know, Jesse, you use that word uncompromising for someone who we need to look for in a leader. But if I recall correctly, I voted for Trump, by the way. I'm not trying to bash him, but
But I will bash
but
him.
I will bash him. He instituted the bump stock ban. He grew government. He grew spending. He arguably kicked off the inflation that we're seeing by doing these stimulus checks. And he surrounded himself with John Bolton, one of the chief rhino, maybe not quite.
Okay,
Cheney
well
level.
let's take
just
this
looking at
one at a
Jesse's
time.
face.
Let's take this one at a time because you just
I
threw
can
a
keep
lot
going.
out there.
I can keep going.
And I'm sure you could, and I'll defend each one of them. So the bump stock ban, first of all, I wasn't thrilled when I was seeing what was going on there either, but everyone who knows what's going on knows that that was a useless law. It doesn't do anything. So I don't care. He was, playing nice at the establishment.
Was it a law, though? I thought it was an executive order. So it's not even a law, right?
It wasn't even an executive order, as far as I know. I think it was.
I thought it was a law.
The ATF.
It was the ATF changing a
Yeah.
regulation internally, which is a case that just got. They had an EPA ruling about a week ago that could have big consequences for the ATF's ability to do stuff like that, along with
All
other
right. Sorry to
bureaucracies.
interrupt. Go
Okay,
ahead, Jesse.
then let's
Defend
go
your-
on to the
defend
John
Trump.
Bolton thing. If John Bolton is your concern, well, I'd be more concerned with Ron DeSantis than Donald Trump. Donald Trump said the only purpose of having John Bolton there was for intimidation. He said that he was just there to look.
4D chess.
Of course he was. And John Bolton was there to look angry, look tough, and be across from the table of our adversaries. And there is an important role in doing that. But John Bolton, he said that Ron DeSantis was one of his favorite congressmen. Now, why would Ron DeSantis be John Bolton's favorite congressman? Why did John Bolton give him thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to run for the U.S. Senate? And then ultimately he backed out of it and allowed Rubio to continue to hold the seat in Florida. So if we're concerned with John Bolton, I can't imagine he's going to have a place in the next Trump administration, but he'll definitely be in DeSantis' ear. So the establishment prefers DeSantis over Trump. It's become extremely clear, even Fox News.
Jones establishment?
I haven't confirmed what's going on with that one yet.
Okay.
But, and what else did you say? The COVID inflation thing? Well, lots of people were losing their jobs. They didn't have any sort of income. And of course, there was a lot of corruption going on in those bills. But Trump wasn't the one who wrote the bill. It was Pelosi and it was McConnell. So just because Trump realized he had to do something to benefit the American people when everyone was, it was a state of chaos. I can't be too angry with him on that one.
And he pretty much sat idly by while people like Lisa Hansen were thrown in jail for violating lockdown orders. He was pretty much silent on the mask thing. And then he came out.
That's not true. Remember, they couldn't even get him to wear a mask himself. That was the big thing. That was the big thing. They said he's not wearing a mask. Yeah, when he went into a hospital and here and there, but no, and he continued to hold rallies. He didn't force people to wear masks at his rally.
I think we're into the wrong discussion here. I think the reason why, and I'm not a Trump fan per se. I like what he represented, but I'm not like, an advocate. I think the reason Trump is a better element for the White House than DeSantis is because what Trump brings is an energy of chaos. He's not this rational, predictable actor. He's someone who's not afraid to flip tables, which is highly useful on the federal level.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, Ron DeSantis, while he is a stalwart in defending a lot of our basic liberties on a statewide level, he's someone who's he plays the game. He's to a degree a rule follower. He's a bureaucrat, frankly, when you look at his history in the military. He is someone who is going to much more likely abide by the way the rules are and is going to go along to get along because people on the state level are not going to act the way you want them to on the federal level. The federal level is the ultimate swamp, the ultimate corrupter, and the ultimate political pressure. So you can have good people on the state level that journey up to the Congress or the Senate and the presidency and can just become awful.
And I agree completely with what you're saying there, Noah, because he has been corrupted. What kind of non-corrupt person works at Guantanamo Bay? Ron DeSantis hides a lot of that information from the public.
Yeah, but was he in the Navy? Are you talking about when he was in the Navy?
It was following.
I'm not here to moralize either people. Yeah, Ron DeSantis worked at Guantanamo Bay and Donald Trump executed genocide in Yemen.
Okay.
They're not great people.
All right. Well, all elections come down to the lesser two evils, or lesser three evils. All right, so
Paul Gazelka,
I can hear Tony going,
Paul Gazelka blocked me on Facebook finally after many years. You mentioned how he gave a lot of money away to all these unendorsed candidates against the endorsed candidates. I actually just...
Wait, well, why are you bringing Paul Gazelka up? We're talking about something completely different. This is called wing coma here. He's in wing coma. He had too many wings, and he's not even following along with the argument because I got a question for you. I want a survey,
All right.
okay? Unless were you bringing that back into... I'm sorry if I cut you off. Did you have a way to tie that back into the...
Well, that's right before this. You were talking about Paul Gazelka gave all this money to Utke and all these unendorsed candidates.
Yes.
That was right before we got into Stump and Jesse again, right?
All right. Well, we're going to finish up the Stump the Trump thing.
All right.
I want a quick poll here. You got Donald Trump, you've got Rick DeSantis, and you've got... Or Ron DeSantis. I always do that. Ron DeSantis, and you got Liz Cheney. Who do you got to go with? William.
You know what? We need to unify. We need to bring people together. Liz Cheney, 2024.
2024. You heard it right there. Liz Cheney.
That's a joke.
So
I don't
the
want to be
neocon,
canceled by the
William,
Trump crowd. Please,
your mom would be
You're
so
done.
upset with you right now.
No, trust
No,
me.
who is it? Ron? You a Ron guy?
After the raid, I'm actually thinking that I have to support Trump just because of how much he's put up with
Ooh.
Yep.
on our
Oh,
behalf.
this poll is going the different way than I thought. All right, so Tucci. Those three options: Cheney,
Those are the
DeSantis,
three
or Trump.
options.
You
Those
have
are
to
the-
pick one of those three.
Is there anybody that didn't get the vax and promote the vax and tell us that we need to all get the shots?
Gotcha.
Was there
all right,
a
I
fourth
gotcha.
option?
What, do you have a pick? You don't want to
Lesser
participate?
three evils.
Yeah, the lesser of three evils, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right. What about you,
I'm gonna
Mister?
answer
What
this
about the big
question.
Viking, Noah?
God, that is an awful choice. Obviously, Liz Cheney is not the choice I would ever make, even if it was.
So you're not
my life.
convinced on DeSantis. You say these are bad choices.
These are bad choices. Trump is the person I would go with, just because I like DeSantis. I like DeSantis on the statewide level, but I just, you can only be in the. I only think you're a good president if you're someone who's going to be going in there with a sledgehammer.
I
That's not
think
DeSantis.
we have to crown Jesse here for the stump the Trump, because once again, you guys were representing a DeSantis defense, and yet when push comes to shove, you join Jesse, right? Do we award Jesse the points today?
Yeah, give me a title belt. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that's
I'm the
right.
champion. The Trump
right.
champion.
We gotta cut the show off here. I got some people in the studio. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Pull up that website once again there, Dawson, actionforliberty.com. You can volunteer for the state fair. This sign right here, this big one right here, my right, your left, that won't be up there this year. We have a new one, which is pretty darn cool. I can't wait to show people that, but you got to come there. You got to come there next week to see it. And so that starts on Thursday. So sign up there, volunteer. Once you sign up on there, Bridget will give you a call and find out what shift you want to work. Free t-shirt, free ticket to the fair, only 6-hour shifts. So go hang out and have wings with Tushy afterwards. Thank you guys for tuning in to this